All right, let's start with your name and position here at College of Alameda.
My name is Kerry Compton, Dr. Kerry Compton. I'm the Vice President of Student Services at College of Alameda.
Okay. How, if any way, have you been affected by the budget cuts personally or professionally?
I am in charge of all the services that help students succeed at College of Alameda. I've been the Vice President of Student Services since 1996. Before that, I was the coordinator of the Disabled Students Program, and I was also the director of EOPS. Before that, I was a counselor for disabled students at Merritt College. So to see the devastation of the state budget at the College of Alameda in both student services and also in the classes that the students have the opportunity to take is a real blow to me, personally and professionally. All of my career in the community colleges, I've worked to expand access for students, expand the services that help them succeed, and then to see them so incredibly reduced has been a terrible, terrible thing.
So basically a huge, devastating blow to all the work you've accomplished.
All the work I've done.
And
you know, so far I have my job. But that's gratifying because many people don't have their jobs as a result of budget cuts.
Mm-hmm.
But it really restricts the opportunities for students. And that's what community colleges are supposed to be about, is expanding opportunities. And now we're going to restrict them. So that is really a travesty.
Okay. How do the budget cuts make you feel about your profession? That's
a great question. Needed now more than ever. Profession of working in student services, yes. That we need to find a way to tell the story more powerfully than before, because that certain things would be cut. You'd think the story would have been told, like EOPS, for example. They've been a very successful program for 30 years in this state, and to be cut 40, 50%, evidently we're not telling the story as we should, because nobody would do that rationally.
Right. Just wait for that to stop. Okay, how do you think we can stop the budget cuts?
Well, we have one big problem in that the budget problems in this state are real. I mean, I don't know that they're 40 billion or 20 billion. I mean, I don't know how real they are, but we have budget cuts. And I think it's probably difficult to reorient the whole value system of every person in the state. I mean, I would like to see that, right? And so that people realize that actually if you put money into education, you don't have to put money into prisons. But I'm a pragmatist, and that's probably not going to happen right away. I mean, we have a state with a big divide, economically and ethnically. We have two states in this state of California. It's not north and south. It's sliced another way. But I think that it's time for a big conversation in the California community colleges about what is our role, what is our mission, because student services was disproportionately cut. The services for at-risk students, students with disabilities, EOPS students, CalWORK students, was disproportionately cut. I mean, classes were cut, but those services were cut more than anything else. And we need to change that, at least. I mean, I'd like to change a lot of other things about equity in this system, but I really think we need to change that.
Okay. How have the budget cuts affected students?
Many ways. EOPS, for example, has reduced counselors, has reduced book vouchers. CalWorks reduced counselors. We had no counselor here in the fall. We've been able to hire an adjunct counselor in the spring. Matriculation, which is a fund that is used for assessment, orientation, and counseling. Matriculation was cut in half, and so students are now waiting 1-2 hours for counselors here. So right off the bat, they don't have as many assessment opportunities, so an assessment is to help them choose which English, math, or ESL courses they need. Students with disabilities are having a harder time seeing a counselor to arrange their accommodations. We've been able to meet the letter of the law so far, but it's been at great cost to the staff, which they're willing to do, but it's very difficult. So there's many ways that this year we've had to cut services, and next year will be worse because this year we were able to use rollover money, leftover money from last year, and we had ARA funding. That won't happen next year, and so our budgets are going to be really reduced, and services are going to be reduced for students. We've already eliminated peak enrollment periods in June, so we're not going to be open late or on Saturdays. So just when there are more students in the system needing more of us, we're not as available. Students, financial aid, staff cut. I read an article in the paper this morning which said that students in California had left $500 million on the table because they hadn't applied for financial aid. Well, the financial aid rules are about twice as more complicated as they were 3 or 4 years ago. And we have half the staff to help the students apply for financial aid. So it's kind of I think, an unrealistic criticism to say, oh, we have all this financial aid, they could be applying. Yeah, have you ever tried to fill out the financial aid forms? They're very complicated. So.
Do you feel your job is secure?
It probably is secure. We need a chief student service officer legally in many of these areas, and that's what I am. I mean, I may be put on furlough for some days, but it probably is. Yeah, it probably is.
Okay, that concludes it. Thank you.
Okay.